In the pre-dawn hours of October 25, 2024, the world watched as Israel launched a series of airstrikes targeting Iranian military infrastructure. The attack, a calculated response to a barrage of ballistic missiles fired at Israel on October 1st, marked a significant escalation in the ongoing conflict between the two nations. The Israeli Defense Forces, or IDF, wasted no time in claiming responsibility for the operation. They described the strikes as precise and targeted, aimed at disrupting Iran's ability to inflict further harm upon Israeli citizens. The IDF asserted that the airstrikes were not merely retaliatory, but also preemptive, intended to deter future aggression from Iran and its proxies in the region. The strikes sent shockwaves through the international community, with many fearing the potential for a wider conflagration in the already volatile Middle East. The United States, while acknowledging Israel's right to self-defense, expressed deep concern over the escalating violence and urged all parties to exercise restraint. Iran, reeling from the unexpected assault on its soil, responded with a mix of defiance and fury. Iranian officials condemned the strikes as a blatant act of aggression and a violation of international law. They vowed to retaliate at a time and place of their choosing, leaving no doubt that Israel's actions would not go unanswered. The international community, already on edge due to the escalating tensions in the region, reacted with a mixture of condemnation and calls for restraint. The United Nations Security Council convened an emergency meeting to address the crisis, with member states expressing deep concern over the potential for further escalation. The European Union urged both sides to step back from the brink and engage in dialogue to prevent the situation from spiraling out of control. The strikes also threatened to derail ongoing efforts to revive the Iran nuclear deal, a fragile agreement that had offered a glimmer of hope for a more stable Middle East. The recent escalation of violence between Israel and Iran is the latest chapter in a long and bitter conflict. The two nations have been locked in a shadow war for decades, characterized by proxy conflicts, covert operations, and a relentless war of words. The roots of the conflict can be traced back to the 1979 Islamic Revolution in Iran, which brought to power a regime deeply hostile to Israel's existence. The Islamic Republic of Iran views Israel as an illegitimate entity and an outpost of Western imperialism in the heart of the Muslim world. Israel, for its part, views Iran as an existential threat, pointing to its nuclear program, its development of ballistic missiles, and its support for militant groups like Hezbollah and Hamas. The recent Israeli airstrikes on Iran have injected a dangerous new element of volatility into the Middle East. The region now stands at a crossroads, with the potential for further escalation looming large. The international community faces the daunting task of diffusing the crisis and preventing a wider conflagration. Diplomatic efforts must focus on persuading both sides to exercise restraint, step back from the brink, and engage in dialogue. However, the path to de-escalation is fraught with obstacles. The deep mistrust between Israel and Iran, coupled with their conflicting regional interests, makes finding common ground a formidable challenge. The potential for miscalculation or unintended escalation remains high, and the risk of a wider conflict cannot be discounted.